I just kept on seeing their pictures, right? While I was on social media. I'm like, what? And then I had to go read the news and, speculation that they're dating. And some people are saying, no, they're not dating. It's a publicity stunt, PR thing. It's just to sell music. They're gonna maybe have a collab. That's all what it is, right? And they're also pointing out that it can't be a real relationship because her ex Ghana is also in Nigeria making some music or whatever song with a better boy. So no, Chloe cannot be in a relationship with Burna. It's just a pure stunt, right? So I'm like, when you say it's a PR relationship, I just hear relationship and then I say, ooh, this is where I come in, right? Let's see the dynamics. Of course, when we do a synastry analysis, we do a synastry analysis of any type of a relationship. It could be a business relationship, it could be a PR relationship, it could be a rabbit activity relationship, it could be a romantic relationship, church relationship, work relationship, business partner type of a thing, professional, any relation, family, any relationship, as long as there's one person relating to another person in any format. This is where I come in. Her birth time that I have is said to have been rectified. So I do, there's no source credited because it's been rectified by the website that lists celebrities, right, and their stuff. So, and for Burna Boy, I did the rectification of his time because there's so much information available publicly, so it was easy to rectify his birth time and get his ascendant. So I do have both of the ascendants. So let's see. Her ascendant is being joined by his Venus, meaning that he finds her attractive. He finds her very attractive, and he sees her as his type. So he's very pleased with her. And how she looks, everything is just perfect for him or to him, right? And of course we were talking about them as if they were really dating, right, as the speculations are going. So that's the angle of my presentation, right? But because she's got her Rahu on her ascendant of Leo, it means that her Rahu and his Venus are also conjunct, which is a beautiful thing because these guys, Rahu and Venus, like to be together, and they make the relationship very fun, very out there, like, romance with a bang, right? So that's why we were seeing all of those pictures of them, like with the big flower big. Because their love would go all out. That's what Rahu and Venus do when they get conjunct together in synastry. We just can't compete. Like everything is just so boom out there. Plus, it's in Leo. Oh la la, big. The bigger the better. The brighter the better. The warmer the better. Right? Everything is just romantic in like capital letters. Right, so this is nice, this is fun, this is beautiful. But because it's in Leo, which is not friendly to both planets Rahu and Venus, right? So we could find, some people kind of like criticizing them, or talking negatively about them, as of course they've already started, right? Saying, oh, they're not a good match, all of that, right? It's because of their house that is hosting this love of Rahu and Venus. So he's got his moon conjunct with her 7th house. Oh la la, I love this one. I enjoy it, right? Because 7th house is around when the sun is setting, so in the evening, so the moon is ready to come out and party, right? It can also be like in the early hours of the morning, time of the moon. So the moon can be comfortable depending obviously where you're born, like the season as well. That would play a role, like if we're talking in a practical world. So in terms of astrology, I like this one because it brings massive fame to the partner, right? Of course, Chloe Bailey is already famous, right? But with Burna Boy's moon sitting here, her fame skyrocketing, right? Now, all of a sudden, all the Africans, they know who Chloe Bailey is, right? It is like that. That's what it does. So that's why I like it, right? So if someone is, placing their moon, just know that your fame is going to start to skyrocket, right? But of course, always think about aspects, your own ascendant, everything does matter. But when we talk in a general form, but in this case, we can see because we have all aspects and we have the real details, right? And we've already seen from her visit in Nigeria, everyone is just talking about Chloe Bailey, and now everyone, all the Africans, they know who she is. If they didn't, now they know who she is. All right. And the very funny thing about this one, it's so funny because moon fluctuates. Moon really fluctuates. Like the moon person can change their mind just like that. They can be like, well, okay, fine, we can commit, I'm committed to you, we can think about marriage, we can think about long term, and then next week they saying something differently, like, oh well, I thought about it and I want to change my mind, That's what moon does. But when it comes to the 7th house, things change a bit, because now it kind of like thinks about, okay, this is a contract house. I'm coming inside a contractual house, and I know here it's about negotiation. I know here it's about relationships. I know here it's about, nurturing those relationships. And me, I'm moon. I'm all about nurturing. I'm all about, positivity in relationships, because that's what it's all about, right? So moon here does tend to entertain the idea of marriage, or the idea of commitment altogether, right? Because of the house, like what the house represents, right? And remember, moon respects Venus. Why? Because moon gets exalted in the house of Venus, of Taurus. So moon respects Venus, right? But I do get worried, right? Because her Ketu, which is in the 7th house, it gets conjunct with this moon that is coming here, which indicates that, there would be, even if he were to propose to her, and even if she were to accept, she would change her mind at some point. Or there's an action that would make either of them to say, okay, anyway, forget about it. Actually, it won't work out. It's okay. Don't worry about it, right? And I do see that most of the time when this happens, particularly now, it's happening in Aquarius, which is already difficult for the moon, right? It means that he could be frustrated. He could be really frustrated about, not being able to get what he really wants, from her, or because maybe of other obligations, other people that are involved, like their social circles, maybe their handlers, or other people that they work with, their associates, right? And they never get to really have the plan of a wedding or stuff like that, or an engagement, or if it started, it already, right, and it gets dissolved. So that's what would be expected with this Ketu and moon. People were saying, oh my God, Chloe is so smitten with him. I'm just looking at this. I'm like, of course she is, because they have a conjunction of their suns. In Gemini. So suns, meeting sun, they understand each other. Literally, it's like they were born together, right? In the, like twins, right? But not only that, they also have their Mercuries conjunct. What? Meaning that the communication is understandable, is flowing. They just get each other. When they talk, they could talk for hours and hours and hours non-stop. But her sun is with her Mars and his sun is with Ketu, meaning that there's fire happening here, but because of his Ketu again, some obligations could make him be absent from her sometimes, but because of the Ketu conjunct with her sun, it means that at some point there would be a scandal or something that is humiliating, or that is just not good for her image, that would come up, not necessarily from him or because he did it, but because of his Ketu on her sun. So that would come up definitely in the future, for sure. I already talked about the romance going all out, because of the Venus, but her 5th house is also, hosting his Rahu and Neptune and Lilith, meaning that the romance is just bang, 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 from his side. Like he's just going all out, making sure, her mind is literally confused by his move, by his love, right? Blinding her, all right? So that's what's happening here. But I do have, of course, a worry because their moons are actually having, a difficult aspect of 6 and 8, meaning that emotionally and mentally they don't really gel well, and that part is not really flowing. Yes, the communication, because of Mercury, is going intellectually, when it comes to quick thinking, decision making, maybe also making blags, like jokes, they can get each other. But when it comes to the mental stimulation in terms of emotional expressions, the love, the nurturing, then here, no, doesn't really gel well, doesn't really give what it's supposed to give. I do have her 12th house, hosting his Mars, Chiron, Jupiter, and Mercury, right? What's making me worried here is that when I saw this, I just thought about the Diddy situation, whereby he was allegedly doing things to people without their consent or without their knowledge. This reminded me of that because this is her 12th house of subconscious, whereby you don't know, or when you are sleeping and you don't know what's happening to you, or when you are isolated. And here it's got difficult planets, which is like the Mars, what you call it, like that aggressive energy, but with Chiron, which is wounding, right? And at the same time, because of the Mercury, could be wounding that is coming from spoken words, or wounding that is done with friends as well involved, and all of that, right? Jupiter obviously expands what it touches. It just made me think of that. And because it's in Cancer, right, meaning that it's home in a foreign country, in a foreign land, because this is a 12th house of foreign land, and it's in a Cancer home environment. And Jupiter here is exalted here, meaning that Jupiter is feeling at home, is feeling comfortable. It doesn't care about preaching, about being spiritual. It just wants to be at home. When you're at home, you don't necessarily act like you're at church, all right? You act like you're at home. And with the Mars here, meaning that male figures, with Mercury, friends, with the Chiron, the wounding, it just made me so afraid for her. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm just afraid of this whole situation happening in her 12th house. But of course, I would think that, she doesn't travel alone. There's like her people that go with her and look after her. I would think that, she's safe. I would hope, that Burna Boy is also safe. Not everybody is like Didi, after all. So, so I had to like calm myself down and be like, no, not everybody is like got a Didi story. So no, calm down. And certainly there are people that watch over her and all of that, right? So I just had to think about that, right? So I do see that her Rahu is opposite his moon, because remember his moon is with her Ketu. So again, indicating some sort of instability in terms of understanding each other when it comes to the emotional level, right? And of course, now her Ketu is opposite his Venus. That pull and push thing, whereby he could propose something serious and then she rejects it, and then he's like wanting to give his love, his attention, and then she's like, actually I'm not ready, or those type of situation, those types of vibes, right? I do have also her Mercury opposite his Saturn, meaning that it obviously it is indicating for us the age, because she's much younger and he's older, 7 years older. And 7 years for me is fine, as long as the person is not like very young, like 21, 22. With their age, like 33, 26, for me personally, it's not so big, but I know that a lot of people, they say it's a big age. But I was just thinking, when he's 87 years old, she's going to be 80 years old, and she's above 25, and he's not over 35 years old. So they are linked, but obviously with experience he's much older, because he's had different experiences in terms of romance, and she has not had many, as she said in one of her interviews. So in that context, yes, he's much older when it comes to their experiences in relationships and love. Right. So I did see all of that. So of course, then I wanted to see what was happening when they met. Why are they linked together? Ooh, I need to know. So let's go into the predictions. Right. just before I, going back to that, to my worry of her 12th house, all right, with all those malefics there, with Jupiter and remember now, people are going to say Jupiter is beneficial. Jupiter is a benefic, but not most of the time, not all the time. Jupiter can act naughty. Jupiter can be windy, okay? Because literally, astronomically, we do know the quality of Jupiter is windy, is a bit stonish, is all of that, right? Stormy. Now, when Jupiter is not in his moment of spirituality, Jupiter can have immense anger and can actually aggravate whatever violence is there. So if there's so much violence and Jupiter is there, Jupiter is gonna go like, yeah, let's go, because Jupiter and Mars actually can work together when it's time of war, when it's time of fight and all of that. They can work together. So Jupiter can give enormous strength towards violence, towards abusive things. So don't always say, oh no, Jupiter is benefic, oh no, it's gonna be fine. No, you have to look at what's happening. And when Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, yes, it will give very good things, but at the same time, it means that it will also give so much support to whatever it touches, because it is in its highest position, highest empowered position, and it's not thinking about spirituality now. It's at home. It's got his shoes off. He doesn't care about church, about preaching, about all of that, right? So if it's fight time, war time, Jupiter is going to take the knife and it's just going to go into the fight mode, right? To protect whichever planets that are his friends and that he's with, all right? So that's what I was worrying. And because this is a psychological house as well, yes, the 8th house is psychological, but now the 12th house is like the psychological part that you don't necessarily control. So it means that there could also be some wounding psychologically to Chloe, like a trauma, some trauma, psychological trauma that is coming, from his side. But of course, this is new. I mean, come on, we're hoping for the best. Yeah, we don't look for bad things. No. We say no. Right? Anyway. From the beginning to the end, everything is alleged, always alleged. I don't care, astrology, whatever, I don't care. Alleged, like even the facts that alleged. Right? So, I was actually responding to one of the love letters about the Ketu and the Venus. Because I did make a video explaining that Venus and Ketu can give a long-lasting relationship, and as a matter of fact, I've seen so many clients with this, right? But I've never seen like a celebrity that I could use to show an example of how Ketu and Venus could, be romantically inclined. And this one, it gave me exactly what I was looking for, because the planets will always give you what you're looking for at the right time when you are looking for it. So when I was looking at the at their progressions, I'm like, why are they together? Why are they being linked together now? And guess what? No, I'm gonna wait, you're gonna guess. Exactly. Do you know what was happening? Ever since she turned 26 years old, her progressing Venus has been going opposite her progressing Ketu, you guys, right? Meaning that it's attached to her own progressing Rahu at this point. So you do see that there is a connection of Ketu through Rahu, because they're always together, right? And at the same time, the same thing is happening, or the similar thing is happening for him. His progressing Venus is conjunct with his progressing Ketu. How is it possible that they are attached, right? Because Ketu is a distant star. And now I'm gonna tell you a secret, you guys, and this is the first time you are hearing of this, and you are hearing it from Synastry expert. As per usual, come closer, come closer. I did promise the love lover. I was like, one day I'm going to explain why Ketu and Venus can lead to a relationship, a long-lasting relationship. Look here. It is because, ladies and gentlemen, love lovers, Ketu can bring somebody that you've dated, from the past life through that Ketu and Venus axis. So this means that they've dated before. You know how I've told you that we have karmic duties and obligations with everyone, literally everyone that we connect with on this earth. And now when it comes to Ketu and Venus specifically, then it means you were dating before. You were not just mom and dad or your neighbor or somebody. You had a relationship before because it was already existing. Remember, Ketu is the past, our past, things that we've done before, things that we are bringing with us into this earth. And now he's his progressing Venus going over his progressing Ketu is an indication that she is known to him from the past life. Now this is how that karmic thing, I always talk about, to say no, don't just say one person is a karmic connection. Everybody is a karmic connection, but when now Ketu and Venus specifically, then you can say not only did you know each other before, but you also dated in your past life, right? Something more magical has been happening as well, because her progressing Venus is going opposite his Saturn, and his progressing Venus are going and in fact conjunct her Saturn. Again, like I always tell you guys, like I've shown you so many times, every time when there's a progression of Venus going or conjunct your partner's Saturn or vice versa, something magical is gonna happen. Is either the relationship is gonna start, and those who are already, and those who are booed up, then engagement, and those who are already engaged, then marriage. It's always like this. I've tested it with so many people, oh my gosh. And voila! Now, because it was going, opposite his Saturn, her progressing Venus, it also means it was conjunct his Mars, Jupiter, Chiron, all of that, right? In her 12th house. Therefore, it's telling me that this whole thing, it started as a hush-hush thing. They didn't want to talk about it. If it's a professional contract, they didn't want to talk about it until a certain moment. And if it's a dating thing, then they wanted to keep it secret for some time before they could come out publicly and say, hey, look, we're together, all right? So that's how it would have started. And I do see that from his point of view, right, he's progressing Venus will be going conjunct with her Venus next year, like around the age of because now he's 33 years old and 5 months, right? So around the age of 34, which is very soon, but as soon as 34 or just a month or two before 34, and thereafter, like the whole year thereafter, we are to expect like a full-on display of their relationship or of their love or whatever they have right now. We ought to see that like publicly, like news papers, magazine, just everybody talking about them, right? So that's up coming up very soon next year, around, he's 34 years old, right? And when it comes to her regarding the future, I do see that when she turns like 27, because she's nearly 27, so she's like 26 5 months as well right now. So I see that around the 27th, or same, few months before or just after and thereafter, going forward, her progressing Venus will be with her Rahu, right? But at the same time, remember, it's going to be conjunct with his Venus, because his Venus is with her Rahu. So again, confirming what I'm saying, we're gonna see a full display of what we just saw now. It's gonna be big because it's in Leo, so it's gonna be big. People are just gonna talking about them. They're just gonna be all over the place, like they're gonna be like sold like as the couple, right? So that's what's on the cards. Remember, we're also assuming that they are dating, so we're looking from that point of view. However, it also means from the creative point of view. Yes, they just released he just released a song with her as making a cameo in the video, but next year they are going to have a big creative project together. That is certain, because they're in the creative industry, and Venus, in Leo, it just wants to be creative. It just want to create things and just have lots and lots of entertainment, right? At the same time, I do see that her progressing Venus will be opposite his moon, right? So again, just a bit of differences in, how he feels and her affection, not getting along well with that smallanyana aspect, but it's so small, right? So we do see that when it comes to, and at that time, like this, around the same time, because it's going to be on her ascendant, all of this thing, right, facing the house of 7th house. So you can see something serious, or they want to be serious at this point, some talks of being serious or having a serious project, something that could bind them together, for a long time. I mean, even a project nowadays, it binds you for a long time. If you have a song, you'll always be linked to that person. If you have a baby, you'll always be linked to that person, right? So something serious is going to ensue, or would be on the cards to come through for that. And I do see that going around the year 2026. So this is what around her age 28, and for him age 35. At this time, things are a bit rough. I do see that his progressing Venus will now go over his Ketu and Sun, and definitely at this point, it's things would not be okay, because Ketu, as we know, Ketu, what it does, right, it break up, right? So there would be a break in 2026, and I do see that her own progressing Venus would be conjunct with her moon and Lilith, because her sister fell pregnant, and so maybe she wouldn't want to be pregnant, but then at the same time, because it's attached to moon, the Venus and moon, they are nurturing planets. So at this time, around the year 2026, around her 28th year, she could feel like, okay, now it's my time, I need to be mommy as well, just like my sister. And I've experienced stuff, I've released good music, I've released good projects, and now I just want to also be a mom, but then it would be like an obligation, or it would be like a work thing. So maybe she could also maybe have a role as a mom, like a TV role, but then she in the TV role, then she has like a baby or something like that, something related to that, right? So that could be on the cards for 2026, because I do see from his side there would be a breakup. So so that's why I'm leaning towards maybe a baby, like she's a mom but in a TV series, or she's a mom maybe in her own music video. She's playing a role of a mom at this time. Right, I do see that when it comes to him, as I said, progressing Venus is conjunct with Ketu. However, it is also opposite, his Lilith, Neptune, Rahu. So again, there are other third parties involved. There are other explorative avenue involved that are making him to be unavailable or to want to be just free, because the progressing Venus would also be in a Gemini, facing Sagittarius sign. It wants to be explorative and all of that, it's calling for freedom basically, right? But at the same time, I do see that his progressing Venus would be conjunct with her own sun and Mars, meaning that at this time the breakup would not be so easy because of the Mars, so it would be like, oh yeah, la la la, I don't want to see you, goodbye, click the phone and stuff like that, right? So something like that could be seen. Of course we would know about it because it's in Gemini, so the news would talk about it, the media would talk about it, and some light would be shown towards the break up, or the break there is. So guys, that is the snippet of this Chloe beta boy situation. Some people are saying it's not real, some people are saying it's real. Nonetheless, it's still a relationship. So on that note, I wish them all the best, and I'll chat to you guys very soon. For now, a bientôt and ciao ciao.